Welcome back to Saga of Three Kings, session number 58, entitled Worthy Opponent. Last session, well, we kind of had a split session. Last session, the group entered the town of Benish on the eastern coast of Cloudy Lake. The town is actually a lot bigger than most folks who have been there remember it. It's definitely gone up in size. There does appear to be a connection with the Iron Road just outside of the town. That's stated. The group entered into the town, made some connections with acquaintances or relatively not terribly close friends. Benson ended up engaging with another mage, more of a dabbler than a professional. And yeah, the others kind of circled around and ended up engaging in a minor tournament inside of the Fighters Guild's Coliseum at the northern kind of coast area there. That said, Brooklyn, played by Brent, who is not here with us today, had a mini session in the in between. He fought against the challenger and was beaten. She apparently displayed a very rogue-like technique against him, but in other fights she's displayed other kinds of techniques, varying up with each of one of her fights. Now, the reason why everyone is fighting against her and no one else in this strange tournament is because she won the tournament in the earlier portion of the day. And after completing the tournament, she performed what is called the right to call for arms in the tournament cycles of Osiria. If you did not feel that you were tested in the competition that was available, you can make a call to arms, and for the remainder of the day, any would-be passers-by, fighters, or the like can attempt to challenge you. Now, for this specific tournament, the prize is not monetary. Instead, it is an additional, or it is a guaranteed seat or rather placement in the grand tournament at Osiria, the capital city of the Three Kingdoms, the Triumvirate. Um, she is basically willing to toss this away for whatever reason, but she doesn't seem to be tossing it, as she has defeated everyone who stood against her so far, handedly. Several hours have passed. Unfortunately, I did not pre-game it so that I could switch this map to a night version of it, but that's fine. It is darker. We'll say it's kind of closer to sunset, more so than like a full-on evening or nighttime. So the sun's kind of coming in from behind her with kind of like a purple glow. It's not blinding or anything, but um, still kind of an eerie atmosphere. Shambles, you are the last one on the roster to fight against her. No other challengers seem to be calling forward, and some of them in the in-between time have removed themselves from the list. You specifically are acting as a champion of one of the nobility of the town, so your placement was assured, whichever one you would want, and you had stated that you wanted to be last. And thus your wish is granted. As you step out, they do mention a lot of things, not so much about you, but about Emenroth, the house and nobility. A couple of things that might kind of catch you off guard, or kind of go, oh, cool, is that it appears that a lot of the things that they're mentioning are that he is a very grand sponsor of the arena. He is a well-known merchant throughout the region, and that he is the one responsible for the Iron Road being brought to the town of Benesh. Um, it's a very long diatribe, and you can see that she, Cameron Bell, not as the challenger, is kind of crossing her arms, tapping her foot, and kind of looking down at the soil. As everything kind of goes quiet, and you think that they're getting ready to kind of call to the fight, everything goes very silent for you, Shambles, and you hear a voice kind of whispering in your ear. Why are you fighting me?
I'll also have been sort of waiting patiently for the announcements to have gone. And I'll look up at her. Uh, am I responding mentally? Would that
You're not
get the
sure.
point across?
You're not sure, but you feel like your surface thoughts are kind of opening up in this dialogue.
I'll say it out loud, but quietly. I'm sure my voice doesn't carry in the arena with all this going on. Uh, I was set back quite a lot about a year ago. I have a lot of catching up to do. I'm nowhere near as strong as I want to be.
She kind of looks down at the ground, then looks up at you and shakes her head. Not a single worthy soul in this entire town, you hear against your ear. You see her draw out the two daggers, and as she kind of gets them out to the side, she raises them up and then throws them down into the sands. You then hear someone off to the side yell out, "Begin!" Yeah, initiative's already been rolled. You see her kind of raise her arms up and enter into a stance. And the second she hits that stance, it's like, shit. She locks into Kenji Hattori's martial stance.
Is that her whole action?
That's it. That appears to be all she's doing.
I'll charge her.
Okay. This,
Movement speed. We are good. The second.
the second you get into engagement range,
Go ahead.
you watch as she kind of dips down to the side, kind of comes up with the knee towards you, and she seems to drop into kind of like a flurry of attacks. Very, you can see that there's an element of kind of anger in her face as she's doing so. Like she just wants to end this quickly. But yeah, she throws out a total of what appears to be 5 attacks in towards you. Bear with me here.
Take it.
25 to hit.
Hit.
28 to hit.
Hit.
Crit.
It's 29.
23 to hit.
Hit.
And 24 to hit.
Hit.
Alright, let's go through the damage. 13, 10, 15 for the crit, 8, and 8.
54.
Okay. And you don't have any spell casting ability, right? There are no spells you can cast.
No, I said. Sorry.
Okay.
I might cut.
Then for you as an Undaunted, you kind of feel it that this is more flavor than anything else.
Okay.
She comes in with the knee and hits. She brings in the right fist and kind of slams into you, brings it back up, slams it into your chin. That's the crit, kind of like toppling you back a bit. And then she comes in with the left fist and throws in a punch, and then extends her 2 fingers and slams them against your chest. And you feel this weird kind of draining effect. It doesn't do anything to you, but it feels like this kind of magical pull. And as she pulls her fingers away, there's like this weird essence that you're kind of watching kind of move towards her. All right, that's her attack, her ready action rather. And
Show me how that works.
you would note that another thing too is most people who ready only get 1 attack. She just went for her full itinerary, which is not normal. So that's another okay. But yeah, it's your initiative continuing.
I came here to have a good time.
So far, it's annoying.
I feel so attacked. Yeah, let's swing on her.
Okay.
29 to hit.
Hit.
I'm gonna go for a stunning strike. It is a 15 con save.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh hell, I forgot to add the
Alright.
D4.
For your first one, I'm going to. No, I use my legendary resistance against him. So yeah, I'll roll it.
I'm gonna add a D4 to that. 14 damage on the first strike.
Okay.
Set up the dagger correctly.
Yeah, you got real lucky. She is stunned.
Ha! Unexpected. I thought this was gonna fail tremendously. Dagger attack.
I checked my notes because when we were talking about it, I'm like, I'm just gonna legendary resistance and make you have to
I
do
had
it
a feeling you had a bunch of those. I was just,
She's only got
it's
1.
That's why it was gonna be a short fight. She's either gonna burn through all my key points while beating my ass, or I'm gonna get real lucky and I'm gonna
You technically have advantage on her because she's currently stunned, so 25
So
hits.
25, and then why is that not rolling the secondary damage? That's why, 'cause I didn't hit a check.
Okay.
So a D4, and then I can re-roll it. Correct?
You can re-roll the d4 and you take the
With
higher
a
of the two.
wow,
Okay.
12.
Way to go! Way to go with the
Two
snake!
ones.
Way to go with the snake eyes. All
Snake
right.
Eyes is
That
something.
that's your second attack. You're into
Uh,
bonus action town.
Flurry of blows.
Oh, sorry. Did you want to do? How does Way of the Open Hand work?
It has to be Flurry of blows.
Go with it.
So spending a key point, Flurry of blows, unarmed strike. 22 to hit.
Misses.
Does not hit. Second unarmed strike, 19. Damn it.
Misses. So as you kind of slam her with the dagger, and then kind of slam her with the dagger, and then bring up for like the two kicks to kind of push her back. As you throw them up, you realize that this weird kind of aura kind of emanates around her, and it seems to be kind of like coming off, like there's like a blossoming of the aura coming off of this charm that's dangling from her wrist. It's like a moon-shaped crescent on a gold chain hanging from her wrist. That's the end of your turn. You stunned her during it. Can you click Stunning Strike for me real quick? I just want to make sure I know the wording. Because I think she's
she's stunned until the end of my next turn.
next turn. So she'll be stunned now, and it'll go to your next
But
turn.
I'll throw it up anyway.
Perfect.
So no action or reaction from her.
She's got
I go
nothing.
Straight into my. Hey, we're gonna try again. Hellbot's dagger, 22 to hit. She is
It's a miss.
stunned. Is a miss. 31 to hit
That's a ticket.
for 14 damage.
Okay.
Gonna try another stunning strike.
On that one, okay.
Yeah.
And it's DC. You said 15, right?
15.
Does she have disadvantage on that when she's stunned?
No.
No, not on Constitution save.
She'll save against it.
Does save.
She's still stunned, but she did save against being stunned after this turn.
Right, right. Flurry of blows.
Yeah.
Crit. 17.
Yep.
Uh,
She's
I'm
been
going-
she's been bloody for a while, by the way. I didn't mention when it happened, but she is bloody.
was she damaged? Oh man.
She started the fight off not in full strength.
Oh, good. Well, even still, with the flurry of blows, I'm going to force her to fail a dex save and knock her prone.
She's prone.
And I guess I'll kick her in the ribs since I can't do my special super move.
Well, she is currently stunned.
Right, but I can't. It would
Oh, yeah, it's an action to do it. Right,
It would
right.
be a
He
full
needed
action.
action.
Gotcha.
Sorry to keep you in the dark. I critted a second time.
I see that. What's the total?
11, 17 off of that.
Okay. Immediately after your turn ends, she's going to use her legendary action. She is prone on the ground. She's going to use that action to take a move action, standing up. Then during her turn, as she kind of gets up from prone, she kind of looks at you with kind of like a surprised look, but you can see that she's kind of also still focused on the fight, but she's spitting blood out of her mouth, and she's kind of like brushing the blood off of her tabard from the stabs. Do you say anything as a
You called me unworthy.
Do you say anything as a free action?
Said, yeah, you called me unworthy. Don't give me a look after that.
It's more of a surprise. Look, yeah. She is going to go ahead and go full itinerary with her attacks.
Fine.
27 hits. And she'll spend her key point to make you roll a stunning strike. So DC is...
17.
You nailed it. All right, second attack. It's only a 19. You got a 21, right?
Miss.
Yeah.
21's a number.
Right. Third attack, miss. Wow, that's real bad. Roll a D100.
Did she ruin her? Okay.
She's not using a weapon.
D100?
She's not using any weapons. She's
19.
using. Okay. She's not using any weapons, by the way. She's just using her fists. So she kind of hops up in between the turns, and then kind of comes in, swings, hits once, comes in with the next one. You kind of duck low, and then as she kind of brings that leg up and tries to do kind of an axe handle kick, you kind of move to the side and kind of catch it on your elbow, and then use your other arm to kind of smash against her thigh, causing her to kind of fall over and kind of land next to you in this direction. She kind of hits that side, and as she does so, she'll use her move this turn, half of it, to kind of throw her legs out flaring with a flurry of blows. She's going to try and catch you with the 2 kicks.
Okay.
As she misses both of them and kind of comes up and kind of has her posture there, you see her kind of look at you and then throw her hands to the side. I yield.
Whoa.
Can I get damage on the one strike?
She didn't hit either one.
She hit me on the first one.
Oh, the very first one?
Definitely strong.
12, sorry. Thank you. Were you bloodied?
I'm a good sport about this now.
Yeah, that's fine. She definitely came into that fight not top tier, but
That's no fun.
it's fair.
I want to do it my way.
She kind of like holds that position and then kind of drops her hand and says, "I yield." And then you hear some cheering across the crowd, and the announcer person, from wherever he's at, says all of the things he said before regarding you being the champion of the person. She kind of gives you a not so much a glower, but kind of like a confused kind of look, and kind of moves to her weapons in a very not hostile way. Like
I'll sheath my dagger and extend a hand.
She pulls her daggers out of the ground, puts them in, kind of looks at your hand idly. Good luck. I hope you find the strength that you're seeking. And she kind of turns away from your hand and heads towards her side of the pit.
I talk to Hitori. That's all I'm looking for.
She stops. She turns and looks over her shoulder again at you. What did you say?
Kenji, you fight just like it.
How do you know Kenji
With
Hitori?
It's a long story, miss. You seem like you have somewhere to be.
I have shown you a slight, and I apologize for that. She bows, and then she turns and walks
Her turn
away.
to bow.
Good talk. Good talk.
I didn't change the fight to the fight music. We went through the sad music the whole time. That's fine. Slipping back to Benish and to roleplay mode. You are the champion of the day.
All done. You got some nice rolls there.
Switch the
I
music
did
up.
get really nice rolls.
But yeah, go ahead and
I
just
didn't get to execute my plan, though.
Which
one
was?
one action off.
Oh, I
Hilarious.
still want to do it. I'll tell you later.
All right.
So it would have been to let you know what you would have had to roll. It would have been an athletics check, and to basically grapple and perfectly get her locked. And the DC was 25. So if you did not hit that 25 athletics, she would have been able to
Roll it.
wiggle out.
Damn.
She would have been able to wiggle out the sides. The other thing I would have asked you immediately after you finished rolling it, I said, okay, do you let the rod go and step back or what? And if you said that, then she would have just reached up, turned it off herself, and thrown it aside because she understands how a
My
movie
whole
will-
thing was about placement.
Yeah.
Boy, there goes the surprise.
Yeah, you did really spoil the whole I'll tell you later, Andy's
No, I got it. now.
factor of it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry!
Oh my god, it's like we just said it.
I'm so sorry! I'm the worst DM. I go ahead. I quit.
I was gonna pin her, see Andy with the immovable rod.
That's right. That's right.
It's gonna be a pro move. But
And you're gonna dance around her when you're done.
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna sort of watch,
I'm sorry.
implore her to yield.
I'm so sorry. I'm bad at subtlety. I don't know how to keep secrets.
You did great. This was fun.
But you're back in town,
Yeah, we got places to be, I imagine.
and you head back into
Not
the.
really.
What you guys got going on? Like I'm still standing on the arena.
This.
You head back into the main
Show
waiting room.
challenge.
The person who was kind of taking the lists in the back while you were waiting and such walks over to you and says, "Congratulations, you did what 73 others could not do." We'll make sure that Master Amaroth is well aware that his champion has concluded the engagement here, and I will make sure that you are bequeathed by the Kyrios with the certificate of entry to the Grand Tournament. If you return to here, the Fighters Guild, actually, tomorrow morning, I believe that would probably be the best time. What with the hour being so late?
Sure. Thank you very much for your hospitality. I'll be sure to meet you here in the morning.
Yeah, thank you for your grand.
And they're talking about there's some like office area in the Fighters Guild. It's
Where-
like the building next door or attached
Yeah,
or whatever.
there's like a
Yeah.
building just outside. It's like a little ways down the road, and then you
Yeah.
kind of have to do about a block and a half walk to get to the.
It's easy enough to find.
You actually went there before when
Yeah.
they sent you from there to here.
Now you have to fill out paperwork.
That's what Riot's for.
Well, I'm here.
That's for the marketing department to figure
Why
out.
else would I have learned all of these languages?
You will still have admittance to House Amenroth. They did say that they would host you there for the evening if you so wish to do it. It's probably somewhere by the time everything kind of gets settled out, somewhere around 6 or 7. Perfect time for supper if that's something you want to engage in. Most of the markets are kind of in the winding hours, meaning that most people who are serious about purchasing have already done their purchases. The vendors are still open and haven't finished selling, but this would probably be the best time to kind of go in and not be kind of dealing with a whole bunch of people. The main issue is most of the good stock has probably already been purchased out.
I'm not gonna make you role play him because he's not here. I was gonna ask how Rooklin's doing. I'm guessing a little bummed.
So what you'll note is Rooklyn, after engaging in the fight, went back to House Amenroth. He was very well wounded, and you'll note that you haven't really heard from him since. If you go back to House Amenroth, I will let you know that, just to kind of forward it, so you can ignore it or it happens later.
You don't have to go right there. When's the last time the three of us just hung out? Just us guys.
Fair dues. He is.
Been a while.
He is in long rest mode. He is definitely also in full pout mode as well.
He got stomped.
So, where you guys want to go? What do you want to do?
So, I mean, this town, it seemed like it was mostly Benson's deal with
It's a pretty big town.
the
So,
school. But
We're
up at,
3 young bachelors out on the land.
Yeah.
I don't know
So-
where we are.
so basically, I would just update the other two on what I learned when I went to the Association of the Town de Marie, and what they told me about the dragons, especially Orbicus. It looks like he was defeated but not killed about 3 days ago. And it looks like he was the only one involved, so the other 2 dragons weren't with him. And they invited me to become a member of the association, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm already a Sentinel of Oru. That's my first priority.
What were the duties of being a?
I wouldn't want to be. I decide for myself what how to best serve Oru. I wouldn't want to be ordered around by others.
You can respect
Good.
disrespecting authority, but
Yeah, 100%. I don't really understand what the Telenumry does. Is there not a way to do both? Really?
I don't
just
know.
make it clear that
I'm
Oru
just
comes
thinking
first.
about it. I'm just thinking about it.
No one puts baby in a quarter.
Raya,
Right.
one thing I want to point out is as you're kind of exiting the Coliseum and heading towards the main road, kind of to pass by the Fighters Guild, you would be able to see the bridge kind of from a different angle. It looks like this is a very massive stone structure that has been kind of rent, and you can see the pillars still kind of floating or kind of settled in the sea there. But it looks like there's pieces of the bridge kind of that have descended down to the seafloor. Underneath the bridge on the coast, though, it looks like there's a bit of a shanty town down there. Looks like there's a large kind of community that has kind of risen up underneath. And from what you can tell, it looks like they've started to build their own kind of small dock area in the small little cove to the north of the bridge.
Like 3 little boats there with the.
Yep.
Okay. Does it appear to have the markings of our trade?
Yeah. Looks like the entirety of that area has very clear designations that are symbolic to what you would know.
You guys want to get in trouble?
Can
I'm
you say
down.
more about this trouble? Wait, is that, wow, Shambles, hold on now.
I'm mostly just curious. There's a little something going on down here.
And tell me more.
That's literally all I know. It just looks like a pretty cool place, and
What kind of oh, so you don't mention anything about markings?
I'll tell you, it says a couple things. Nothing really specific, but some words of the trade definitely spread across the buildings.
All I'm saying is Benson is in a safe place. I got my feet wet in the tournament, circuit again, and I'm down to clown.
Brooklyn's napping.
My night's made.
Okay, I'll tag along and see what happens.
For this session, Jeremy, you wanna keep the swap as it is?
Yeah, I'm totally flying down there. I was about to do that. This is dope.
Yeah, there are no
It's fun.
there are no key descents at this location. It looks like the main way to get down to that portion of the coast would be to head to the circle there, right, kind of east of 2, and then head diagonal down towards whatever that big rock is, and then gonna go underneath the bridge along its southern side.
Okay, the trail leading downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll head that way.
Okay. So as you're heading that way, you'll notice a couple of things. Notably, there are some fancier houses kind of north of that first circle that you'll kind of move up to. The ones that are kind of in that gated area, with the walls. These look like they might be merchants' houses. Not too dissimilar stylistically from what you saw at House Amenron. Continuing on down the way, you would notice that there's a very massive circular building, kind of settled in kind of an open space amidst the buildings that are kind of present here and around.
Right next to the 5.
Yeah, the 5 would be the one I'm talking about. Yeah. From what you could tell, this looks like it might have been some sort of trading depot, or like some kind of place of commerce. But it looks like it's dead. Like it looks like a very massive and very ornate kind of structure, but it doesn't look like there's anything happening there. Presumptions being presumptions, you would assume that this was probably something that was probably more in strength when the bridge was active. And then continuing on, the massive rock that you kind of come to, you would note that it has a plaque on its side, and it says the first foundation stone. And then it has a date, and it appears that the date is very, very early in the time of the Civil War. All right. You'd also pass by the Association of Telnomri, just outside.
Which building was it that had the Vitali styling?
Oh, that was your friend's house. That was
Okay,
Amon
that's
Ra.
what I thought. We haven't seen any more of that, right?
No. So the
one.
yeah, it was literally just that one wall. What I meant by the same kind of architectural styling is like the rest of the house. And yeah, just outside of that big rock there is a massive building. It seems to have a gold dome over top of it, and 2 kind of side longhouses. You don't know what that building is. It's just south of where the Talnumri College is located. But you've never really identified what that building is. There's no signage outside that tells you what it is. But there is old Osirian script kind of up in the colonnade. I don't think any of you are fluent in Old Osirian. Yeah, that was Kevin's character who was.
Ryan would have been the one to guess on.
So Old Osirian is very much like Latin would be compared to like English. So it kind of looks like it says something about a judge or judiciar is kind of the word that it looks like, but you don't know if that's how that's pronounced.
Bro, if this is a courthouse, I'm pretty sure I can read that word.
It might be.
I've seen it written in everything.
It's a recognizable pattern.
It might be. Yeah, it's definitely one of those.
Been locked up everywhere you can think of.
Actually, that's a solid point. Go ahead and make a history check for me there, Ryan.
Oh, this is much funnier now. 12?
I'll say because of your specific nature, you'll have advantage for it. What'd you get?
24.
Yeah, so it is a courthouse, and you're actually familiar with Benish's courthouse. The reason why is because they have what is known as the foundational execution method. And how that is processed is The first stone is combined with the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth stone until the charged is deceased. What that means is they put the person out on the first stone, the foundation stone that's out in front, and then they place the other stones atop the person until they die.
Neat.
Like Salem.
I
Like
explained that to my
Salem.
friend like a tour guide.
But they don't so much try to like get things out of someone. It's more of just the process of killing
Just a
them.
gruesome way of killing.
Correct. They call the best moments of the executions, from what you remember, Raya, the detonations, when the person underneath explodes outwards, out from under the stones.
I watched it happen once.
Gross, disgusting, and horrible. Oh my god, why is Brent watching me? He's in the chat, you guys. Well, he's on vacation, if I remember correctly. But anyways,
Hi, Brent.
continue. Hey, Brent. Continuing on down the way, you head to the underneath of the bridge. Now, there's a very stark divide. It's literally right at that circle. Everything south of that circle is very nice, very polished, very warehouseian, kind of like ports, very rudimentary kind of port city. And just north of that, underneath the bridge, it's shacks, it's lean-tos, it's old buildings that look like they are basically being kind of incorporated into new structures. The pillars that are still standing look like they have numbers of levels that have been built around them and up. Looks like there are sub-levels on the underside of the bridge. It's a very kind of just elaborate place where it looks like a lot of people have taken residence.
These aren't like necessarily homes that are established. It's just sort of.
It looks like there might be some with like actual governmental addresses, but it does look like there are a lot of displaced parties.
Okay.
I'm gonna conceal the nobility dagger and wander on in.
Make a stealth check for that. Or no, sleight of hand for check.
24. Okay.
The nobility dagger vanishes on your person. Okay. Heading in, you would note that a lot of the signs that are present here that are of your trade are protection symbols. Basically, it looks like a lot of these houses are under the protection of whatever Thieves Guild is operating within this area.
Is there an identifying marker for which guild it is?
There doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
There is a warding symbol, though, very early on, that seems to ward against what you would know as the identifying marker of the Crimson Scarves. That means that they are not them.
Keeping them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rate those guys for lunch.
So much so that they don't exist.
Is there anything in particular you'd be looking for in this kind of situation? A safe house, fencer. Like, is there any kind of ill towards trader or anything like that you're specifically seeking out, or are you just hoping something happens?
I'm mostly here just because intrigue, but
Okay.
I guess a fence or a black market would be kind of cool to come across.
Okay. You very quickly find the trail to follow and end up kind of making your way towards the northwestern pillar that's just off the coast. You can see that there's kind of a bridge that kind of goes out to it, and a number of people kind of standing outside the bridge who look like they're kind of toughs. They look at you as you approach, and you can see that they have identifying markers now. You're seeing what the gang appears to be, and from what you can tell, these individuals are Mardigan family.
Then yeah, I approach all super happy and jolly.
He says, what's the deal?
I can't think of cool words to say.
Well, you would
Hey,
know
hey, buddy.
you would know that he's asking you the code for like kind of acknowledging yourself. And at this point, there is no actual code, so if you want to make up a passphrase for the Mardigan family, it'll be canon.
Oh god damn it!
Just taking my turtle and robot for a while. That's cool.
That's code. That's what the Mardigans use.
So like Patrick is the coolest.
That's a breaking and entering.
Patrick is the coolest.
I don't really have any cool.
I wish you were cool.
Me too. Well, you put me on the spot. I wasn't ready for this.
Well, I'll give you a couple of seconds. Literally a couple of seconds. One.
Guys, anything?
I just said.
Let's ask the chat. Cool phrase for Ryan to say.
I'm in town on
The,
business.
the password. That's lame.
I
The
don't
owls,
know.
the owls are
My
not what they
my
seem.
liking of
An actual password?
yeah, it's like a secret phrase.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm seeking out my cousin.
Your cousin, eh? Nods his head. All right. Well, I think he might be across the bridge.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Head on over. You see that there is kind of like an iron door. A gentleman sees you kind of approaching, looks at you three, and kind of goes and opens the door. You see that there's a very quick kind of hand gesture. It looks like he's actually unlocking it very quickly. Opens it, and there's a staircase that descends down into the actual foundation of the pillar.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if these people were caught, they'd be taken out on the stones that are missing, flattened out on them. That's the joke. So when you get down into the sub basement of this pillar, it's not a massive open space, but it's pretty decent size. I'd say probably about 50 foot by 50 foot. Each one of the corners, four of them, appears to have people kind of set up in them with a couple of other individuals present. And there's probably maybe, besides you, maybe 6 or 7 other people who are just kind of milling around talking. It's pretty simple. Looking at the setup, Mardigan family's pretty easy to kind of designate. Corner 1 is for poisons. Corner 2 is for drugs. Corner 3 is for magical/fleeced items. And corner 4 is for information / false documentation.
So you two are going to want to stick to corner number 3 and not look at anything else.
what was quarter 2?
Drugs.
It's
I
right.
think I should check out 2.
Yeah, I mean, some pipe weave is always nice.
Oh, now you're on board for Mardigan drugs. I heard the story.
I'm
by
always,
the way,
I'm
Mr.
al-
Tower Basement Naysayer.
I've always been down for pipe
I
weed.
don't get poisoned and I don't breathe, so if anyone should check out the drugs.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, this place is dope. Might have some too.
I don't have any money.
What corner did you say you're going to, Jeremy?
I don't announce that.
I'll check out 3 first. I'll check out the magic item.
Okay. You see kind of elderly woman kind of behind the counter or behind the kind of table. A number of items are kind of pressed out in front of you. Go ahead and roll me 6 D100s. And I brought out that book for a reason and I set it down. Here we go.
All right, 32.
All right.
Actually, give me 31. You just put them in order.
32, 31. Okay. So 32 first. Okay. So there is a potion. 31 is looks like a single arrow, white in coloration with an elvish tassel kind of off the side. The tassel that's on the back is kind of a bluish color. The 70 is looks like a wrapped up kind of parchment, sealed with what appears to be a hand on it, kind of red wax and a hand on it. From what you can tell, the hand is very similar to a marking you would be all familiar with, the hand of Benson, the hand of Mudis. Very strange to see that here. The
34.
34 is another potion. The potion in question looks like it's kind of like a silvery kind of. It almost looks like mercury in the bottle, but more transparent. But still with that kind of silver sheen.
41.
41. Another potion. This one you're familiar with. It looks exactly identical to the potions that you found at the Frost Giant dead place.
Okay.
And then 89.
89.
A necklace.
I would ask her about the necklace, the parchment. And the arrow.
The parchment is a scroll of a teleportation circle. It was lifted off of a location north of here, and we made it official using a seal we've gained access to recently.
All right, so I'm going to have a couple questions on this one for you. So my name's Raya. I'm working out of Mutis. I
Okay.
don't know how familiar you are with me. Okay, good enough. How did you get access to the seal?
We've had hold of. Wait a minute. Raya, the Saint of Mutis? Is that right?
That's the one.
The Saint of Blue gave you. Yeah.
Oh, well, Saint of wherever. Fuck
Right.
all.
Saint.
We were holding the Hall of Arcana for some time, and it was well known that you were in league with the Halfling wizard, the diviner or palmist from Mutis. So to make things look like they're on the level, we stole them from that location, and we ensured that they were brought out into the world with some sort of moniker of realness. So the seal.
Two things. Number one, this is hilarious. Two.
She nods. Okay.
Number two, I'm gonna need you to stop using that mark. Use the old mark of the other mages.
The old marks are no longer valid because those mages are all dead. If you are who you say you are, you should know why they are no longer among the living. You're muted.
Nope.
Try again. No. Someone cast silence, apparently.
Uh-oh.
I want another old fashioned, but I don't have to go get one.
Rock and I are just standing here with our hands in our pockets, hanging out in the.
If you're standing
Hello?
nearby, you're there you go.
There he is.
If you're standing nearby, you're overhearing this entire conversation. They're
Oh
not
yeah,
talking.
we're hanging out.
This is great. I'm just taking it all in.
They're not talking in Cant either.
You still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old boy's mark may not be valid going forward, but if you still have their stuff with their mark on,
It just cut out again. It's so weird.
Died.
I don't know.
There, it's back. I don't get. Are you holding a button to do it?
I'm using push to talk. It's
So I think you're letting go of the button, or it's not holding tight.
No.
What's the button?
left control. I'm smashing the shit out of it.
Okay.
Why don't you just go straight to voice activity? Make
Yeah,
it
just
easier.
go to voice activity.
My house is so loud.
It is loud.
It is a really loud house. You should have been there yesterday. Oh my god.
Constant fiesta over there.
So his son got a hold of the dice jar and was like, he said he was cooking, and he was just
Shaking the shit out of it.
and it was in the dining room, and you know how the acoustics are in that room.
Yeah, it's an
Oh.
echoey room.
And I was trying to explain Kill Team to these guys. It's so bad. I had fun, but yeah,
Kenny,
Jeremy's a
can you
great father. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we gotta get you guys a new seal. We can't be using that one. I can't drag this guy's name through the mud. We the Mardigans are already putting enough pressure on that guy running out of his basement. So
Okay. Well, I'll bring it forward to the Master Thief. If you want to meet with him, I can arrange that, and you can discuss the matter with him directly.
yeah, maybe later.
Okay.
Anyway,
Do you want it?
maybe tell me more about this necklace. I really like the
Sure,
gold and,
sure.
Also that arrow.
The arrow is just a elvish arrow. You would know that's terminology for a +1 arrow. The necklace, though,
Is it one and done? I'm not familiar with it.
yeah, it's a one and doneer.
Oh, that is,
Actually, no, it's you can collect your arrow back at the end of the fight, or if you have some method of
Like
keep
a
on.
50-50 chance or something.
Yeah. Typically for magical ammunition, I just let it stay.
yeah,
Nobody uses a bow.
Nobody uses a bow.
I do.
Since when? Thank you,
When
Zach.
did you ever use a bow?
I have never.
You're a
Like
dagger
the
guy.
fortress fight on our first
But,
mission?
Literally all the time. I used to pull it out in almost every fight.
The necklace is a necklace of adaptation, from what I understand from my studies of it. It allows you to breathe normally in any environment, no matter if there are harmful gases or poisons present.
Right, I need that.
If that dickhead John Dupre tries to throw you in this tomb of the hidden shrine of Tomoe-chan again, you'd be fine.
That sounds pretty dope. How much for that in the scroll?
500 for that. The scroll would also be 500. It is a scroll of teleportation circle.
What's the employee discount like around here?
Well, since you are who you say you are, I suppose I could cut off 5%.
Call it 10.
But it's 5. You don't call something what it's not. If you want to call it 10, but it to be treated as 5, we can certainly engage in that affair. But it's 5. Steph! Fuck this bitch. I can see the look in his eye. He's murdering her in his face. In head. He's like...
Oh, that's too funny.
What time's my meeting tomorrow?
Oh, I haven't set it up yet, but I can certainly do so, no problem.
Yeah.
Get her badge number, Ryan.
I'm gonna speak to your manager.
I'm sorry, Karen. Did you want to speak to my manager?
I'm not whatever that guy's name was. Was it Eric?
Oh, yeah.
Eric with a K.
Oh, I loved Eric with a K.
I bet you did.
His son was important.
Give me a second.
Oh, my gosh.
95 or 950 gold for both.
950 for both.
What do you think?
I got
Robot?
no money. I got no
The
money.
teleportation scroll is useless. You have a teleportation device.
That is genuinely what I was thinking. The necklace would be nice.
But it's pretty situational. It protects against only certain vapors, right?
Yeah, Grok could cast teleportation circle, I believe. I think druids do
Really?
get that. Let me check.
Oh,
And even if it's on a scroll and you have the spellcaster ability,
No,
you still
so
need to be of a class to do it.
yeah.
Okay.
And they don't have it. Bard, sorcerer, warlock, wizard.
and that's what we have Benson for. That's, I don't.
Because we have a cleric and a druid present, but neither of them would be able to use it.
It's not my jam. I'm not excited by any of these items, frankly.
Just the necklace today.
450.
Done.
Wait a minute, that's 10%.
Done.
she,
Way to slip up.
she's holding the money in her hand. That's son
Shit.
of a bitch.
Damn it!
I don't know math. Ah, shit.
The deep roleplay, John.
It's
Got her.
it's not paladin, Brent. Sorry. I saw you in chat there. Man, I need to drink more often. I just had one drink and I'm toasty.
It's working great.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing.
Yeah, great. So
I'm going to stall number 2.
stall number 2 has drugs.
So,
There's a kind of
sure, and I'll come back to find out the meeting time.
okay. She would tell you it would be dawn, and she would tell you the location is at the statue of Padraig, number 7 on the map.
Got it.
The gentleman behind the stall number 2 is kind of a spindly gentleman, very kind of emaciated, and very pale. His pallor is kind of strange, though. It's not just kind of pale, it's also kind of got a blueness to it. He does appear to be human. His lips are a bit blue in coloration as well. And as you kind of approach him, he goes, ah.
May I try to suss out the cause of such a strained coloration?
Make a nature check.
I would love to. 17.
So, you know there's a drug called blue mushroom powder that, when imbibed over a long duration, would cause that. Also, silver, cordial silver, I think it is, or something to that effect, can also cause it.
Would I know the effect of such a drug? Is it mellower? Is it upper? Is it a
The mushrooms is more of kind of like stimulant, kind of activates the mind and kind of focuses it in on specific activities, and then the silver, colloidal silver, I can't remember. It's actually just it's not that if this guy's smart because it's snake oil salesman shit.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna make up a thing, and I'm gonna say, Grok would say.
He goes, as you approach. That's it. Just
That's it. Okay. I'm interested in some herbed pipeweed.
pipeweed.
And he would reach into his pouch and he'd pull out some different things, like you see crushed up leaves and some lavender in there. This is from the Mudus region. I've collected it
As he
myself.
ca-
Are you interested?
As he kind of rears his like lips back, you can see that his teeth are kind of like lowered down from his gums, and kind of the rims of his like teeth are kind of like red ringed from like what you'd assume is blood, like
Okay, so he's
kind
got
of
meth mouth.
got a bit of meth mouth, and he kind of goes, pipeweed. No thanks.
You never cut it with something else, man?
Do
You
you
don't.
Are you there, Shambles?
You're not recreational. I'm just following these two around.
do you have pipeweed?
It's not like this room isn't very big. You can literally move to any part of it
I figured we were
in the blink of an eye.
He's being the wallflower.
My 10 room.
Perfectly fair. He says,
I go to the drugstore. You hold it.
I suppose it could be mixed in with devil weed, but I would have to try it to decide. I don't think it looks interesting. A woman kind of near him kind of leans over and says, very strange. Lavender mixed with your pipeweed. Have you ever tried this with anything else? Perhaps Oru's oil, or maybe
Oru's oil. What's that?
blue mushroom?
I hear from a source that it's a
Oh.
wine brewed tea.
Oru's oil. Do you want to try some? We have some. Gestures towards like a small kind of square flask filled with kind of this greenish liquid. The green color is kind of at the bottom, and it seems to kind of separated away from this kind of yellowish color. And so the yellow kind of sits on top, and there's kind of like this green bottom.
If Shambles is there, I would say, and you know what this is?
I don't.
Oh, it seemed like
I was
it
saying
seemed as
I'm
if you
safe
did.
from drugs.
Oh, I see. We're looking for mild.
It's not
I'll
mild.
try it if you're offering.
It is not mild.
No. So I'm looking for something more mild. I think this is not exactly what I'm looking for.
Devil's
But-
weed
but
would.
I would hand over like a little bit of my weed and offer it up if you want. You want to try this if you want something a little bit more mellow.
Devil's weed might be what you're looking for.
No, thank you.
I'll wander over.
Kind of
Should taste like
shrugs.
soap.
You say should taste like soap.
Yeah,
The-
lavender in it.
Kind of looks at it and goes, "Well, we'll try it." Puts it into a so mortar and pestle. The mortar is the bottom, and the pestle is the thing you grind with, or is it the other way around?
I believe the pistol is the grinder.
Okay, so then puts it into the mortar, and then takes the oil flask and dabbles a couple of drops into it, sets that down, caps it again, grinds it in with the oil, and then kind of takes that, shoves it into a pipe, puts the pipe to the mouth, and then you see kind of a snap of the fingers and a light of the pipe. Oh, that's pretty fucking mellow. Kara, try this. And she takes it and goes,
I told you.
nice. That's really good.
Taking hard pulls on that raw tobacco, but alright.
Yeah, well, it's also mixed with the oil, so
And lavender. Shit tastes like soap.
it tastes like soap. Like they would know what that
Druggies
is.
do not care what soap tastes.
Or no.
Yeah.
Or not all druggies, so some. Anyway, so switch mode. They offer you wares. You obviously turn them all down. Okay. That's too bad. I'd love to see a high turtle.
That'd
Okay.
be cool.
Shambles, is there any corner that you're more invested in?
Two?
You're at 2, yeah, the drug one.
What were the other two?
Oh, sorry. So it would have been information and false documents for 4. And then it would have been, what did I say one was?
Poison.
That's right, poisons.
If you don't have particular interest, I'm gonna head over to 1.
Yeah, I don't have much going on down here. I was just sort of tagging along,
Woman,
being a pal.
kind of sitting there, arms crossed. Hello, Saint. She shrugs.
Hello. I don't have push control anymore. It's on voice to talk. What am I doing? All right. I've got these poisons. I actually don't know what they are. Do you think you could help me out?
Sure.
I pull out 5 poisons that I took from the chairs back in purple light.
She takes it, kind of looks at it. Shoves her finger in, and then kind of.
That was fucking bold.
You okay?
Do you need a second taste to figure that one out?
And then spits it onto the table.
Lovely.
I believe what you have here is carrion brain crawler, or carrion crawler brain juice.
Huh.
Identified that by taste. You're familiar with its taste.
She looks over at you. Do you doubt me?
No,
She's a pro.
just
She
surprised
kind of
at such a skill.
places her dagger. It's a very thin kind of misericord kind of dagger. And places it into the vial and tips it and kind of looks at it, and then hands the dagger to you. If you stab someone, preferably not me, with this dagger, I can guarantee that they'll be paralyzed for near upwards of a minute.
Shambles. May I?
Prove her wrong, or I'll hand it to you.
No, I was asking if I could stab you with it. Just for fun.
That's what I was saying.
He
Is
doesn't
prove her
care.
wrong.
He doesn't
I
care.
think you're immune.
He doesn't care about
No,
poison.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I said prove her wrong. You can stab.
I just stab him.
Stab Shambles?
I lightly stab Shambles.
Okay. She shrugs.
We will shut the ribs.
Like she's not stupid and understands the robot's probably not going to be poisoned. That's literally like
She's so fun.
the dumbest thing you guys have ever said. Oh, I didn't poison the automaton.
Embarrassed.
Didn't poison the automaton.
But it's fun.
And she's like, no way. Roll a d4 and add your dex modifier. Do that much damage to Shambles.
Alright.
Your fun's going to have costs.
Yeah.
But she
Nice.
says it paralyzes the targets, as do carrion crawlers. They secrete the poisons from their brains, the sac inside of their brains, out through the tentacles on the front of the face.
And the other 4 poisons?
They're all the same thing. She says
So
that
you gave us 5 different ones from then.
she kind of looks over it and she says, "They're all the same things."
Huh. Someone's got some food coloring.
No, typically each unique individual carrion crawler will have a different fluid coloration, depending on where it was fermented, where it was raised, and also environmental elements. Typically, the types of corpses that they devour mainly. She points at the darkest of them, kind of like a dark gray colored one. That one, I believe, would be one that fed mainly on undead.
Very interesting. Are these of any use to you?
Are you looking to sell?
I could. They haven't been useful for me.
50 a pop?
Sure.
She says 250. I'll be more than fair and generous to the saint of Bluegate. And she throws out
Why do you say it like that?
300 gold pieces. And she does say it in kind of a sardonic way, yeah, so I hope you are picking up on that.
No, I'm literally asking, why do you say it like that?
It's, interesting, your story, from what I've been told, and
You got Canada.
it's very, very rare that a member of our family keeps their head so high above.
Grok nods and said, "It's hard to be a saint in the city."
He walks over. This is what Fig said. It's hard to be a saint in the city. Smells like fucking soap over in corner too, though. It's Sounds like
couple of wasters in the corner are smoking soap. It sounds like.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a name of a soap, but I can't because we have some.
Dove?
Yeah,
I
Dove.
agree.
We have some off-brand, and I just. Oh, it's actually a cool brand. I just can't remember. What's the one where the ladies are? I can't say that on the stream. The ladies are having a great time shampooing their hairs. What's the name of that
Just sing a jingle. That'll be fine.
Irish Spring.
Garnier Fructis. Is that what it is? Those commercials. Do you remember those commercials?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what the brand was.
Anyways, moving along. Not off brand. Yeah, that's that one.
What do you mean by keeping my head so high?
Well,
Like the
you're
Mardigans haven't taken a point in every status.
you're pretty noticeable and recognizable. For me, that's just not something I would enjoy. I don't want people to know me. So it's weird to see someone in my profession, namely killing, that would be so blasé about it. That's all.
I want to know you.
Well, she kind of looks down at the bottles, then kind of looks over at you. I'm into some very, very strange shit.
Oh, I could tell when you licked the foot. Job.
And if you're around in a couple of hours and want to hit the streets, we can.
Sounds good. What time you close? I'll come back and pick you up.
I'll be done by nightfall, and I will meet you at the first foundation stone.
Sounds good.
Hey, we got a booked schedule.
I'm never seen again.
Take Rock with you. Have him transform into something tiny in your pocket.
Yeah,
What's the
really.
anime?
Do you guys want to do with any of the
Watch out.
tables?
Watch out for the daggers for her.
Do you want to do with any of the tables?
Nope.
My
What
information
kind of
document.
information we would be looking for?
A gentleman sitting behind the thing looks almost like a merchant lord or noble, sitting there, kind of sees you approach.
I'll be right back. Technic notes.
Okay. Can I help you?
Hello. Actually, yeah. What do you know about that Cameron character? The
Cam-
lady fighting in the arena this afternoon.
Cameron Belnadis?
Yeah.
She is a holy avenger of the Church of Atavius. She's a master paladin, holy knight. Paladin in name only, if I remember correctly. She did not finish the knightly schools.
Doesn't fight like any paladin I've ever encountered.
She wouldn't. She was trained for specific measures. As a holy avenger, it's her task and goal to find the most prominent and most notorious targets against the crowns and against the church and destroy them.
Would you know who trained her?
Number of different masters, from what I understand, namely secret sects inside of the church and foreign parties. I believe one master was brought in from the lands of the Blue Dragon. Another
Could this be a Kinji Hattori?
could be. Unfortunately, we do not have an understanding as to the specifics of her training. Regarding Kenji Hattori, I suppose it's possible, although there is a lot of mystery regarding that individual's specific fighting techniques as well.
Also out of character. Price and, exchange of information was never displayed. I don't know what I'm getting into as far as
You're saying that out of character, but
I
the
am
thing
saying this out of
the
character.
thing is you are engaging in a transaction in character. So when it
Right.
comes time to pay the piper, one of two things is going to
Ryan's here.
happen.
It has money.
Fair.
Wait a minute.
So yeah, I don't know, what can you tell me about Amarnath, the merchant lord?
He has push to make his estate much more public. He is a prominent individual in the community of the town of Benish. He is the one who desired the Iron Road head up past Cloudy Lake and onwards towards Bluegate. It was mainly through his own contributions that such an event took place. He is in league with the Synod of the Anonis. Not a full-fledged member of the Synod, but he does fall in league with them. As a merchant lord, he trains mainly in textiles. There was a bit of a time where he was seeking to wed, but unfortunately, no suitors that came calling were worthy of his desires. He sought a mate of princely stature. He was purported to have attempted to engage with one of the merchant council members of Bellum, but their love was not meant to be. It seemed they both wanted the other to move to the other's home place, and neither of those gentlemen were worthy or willing to do that.
I heard an interesting name while I was sort of walking the streets outside the arena. What can you tell me about this Christian Gervester?
Christian Gervester was a winner of 4 grand tournaments in Osiria, trained by some of the finest. I believe he was also a dedicated Holy Avenger for the Church of Osiria. He was also a noted member of the Inquisition. It was said that he served at the behest of the Hierophant himself. He went missing about a year or so ago from the capital. Not much has been said of him. He did fight a couple of times here in Benish, and from what I remember, he had some affiliations with some of the folks who followed the teachings of Padraig Benich, the folk who have now been relegated to living within the Vale.
Would you have reason to believe such people are still in such an area?
Well, yes, they're just outside. In the Vale.
Fascinating. Thank you so much.
Do you,
Raya.
do you ask him what the Vale is?
Yeah, tell me about the veil. I was embarrassed. I thought it was something we talked about already.
We stand in the pillar of the Vale. The Vale is the remnants of the bridge of Padraig that fell during the Civil War.
So they live under the bridge?
They live under the Vale. The same thing.
I've got
It sounds a lot less homeless.
It sounds a
got
lot.
friends that live under a broken bridge.
Yeah, it checks out.
Excellent. And Raya will be picking up my tab. He is the Saint. He is a Mardigan, I think, or sub-affiliate.
Most of the information he asked was superficial, but the information regarding Amarnath was from import. 250.
You owe me.
Ah,
If you have any
yeah,
other,
probably.
if you have any other questions, Zadok Mishrael, I am of course at your service.
Damn
And
right.
please to note that that is already including the 40% discount that is due you.
Thank
40.
you. Someone who gets it. Thank
He again kind of
Yell across to the other tables.
gives you the bow.
Oh, I'm not right back. Shout out.
He seems very knowledgeable. As you leave, you see that he does light up, smoking his strange
This guy knows I kill people for money.
cigarette. You've done
And for fun.
1, 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yeah.
No, we hit them all.
All right. Where do you go next?
I don't know. What do you guys want to do? We got hours to kill. So I got a meeting, and then you
You
guys.
got a date, then you got a meeting in the morning, and I've got a meeting in the morning.
Grok.
Oh,
Grok, let's get you something on the itinerary. Where are we going, bud?
we are very busy business people.
Just to bring up a couple of things that have been mentioned that might seem of interest. The Synod of Inanis has been mentioned a couple of times. The Sacralum of the Orrery is located at 12. It's been kind of denoted a couple of times. It may be of interest, it may not, but if it hasn't held your interest up to this point, probably not. There are a couple other locations throughout. You could go back to the association. You could try and seek out something else.
Yeah, let's go back to the association.
Okay.
Like how Grok's station is like these legitimate organizations. Jeremy's in a criminal syndicate, and I have pals under a bridge that might remember me from a year ago.
So as you're kind of
Do you want to go out to your pals under the bridge? I mean, we're already here.
In a little while, let's do anything. We've been neglecting it.
so Shambles,
No, it's fine.
are you gonna stick with Grok and go
I was gonna say
to?
that's an uphill.
Oh,
back
okay.
down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll meet up with you guys later. I'll go under the bridge. Do anything.
Okay, so Grok's going to go to the association. Shambles is going to stay in the Vale. Raya, what are you doing?
I think I'm gonna accompany him in the Vale for the time being. Wait for my date at the pillar.
Okay. Grok, you return to the association. There are 3 buildings, of course, and you have entered one of them, the staff. There's also the sword and the shield. Is the staff where you're going? Seeking out more information, or?
If I were interested in talking about signing up like terms, would it be at the staff or would it be at one of the others?
Depends. Do you want to be a staff member, sword member, or shield member?
So can you tell me more about what each of those means?
So you would have basically been able to suss out during your time there, the short time there. The staff is about collecting knowledge and gathering it for the association so that it can be given to all peoples. The sword is about defeating all evils in the world and making sure that they are destroyed where they live and rooting them out. The shield is about protecting the innocent and ensuring that no party who is trying to live a calm and goodly life is harmed in any way. So it just depends on which one of those 3 seems most appealing to you.
Got it. I think that the shield sounds like Grok's speed.
Okay. You head on over to the shield building, enter inside, sitting at a desk, pretty much all by his lonesome in this very open kind of office space, is a dwarf, pretty much drowsing off. And as the door opens, he kind of, hello. Can I help you?
I am Grok, the Sentinel of Oru.
Mm-hmm.
I have spoken to, and I would repeat whoever's name it was I spoke to at the staff,
Yeah.
who offered membership in the association.
So you wish to be a shield associate? Okay. He kind of looks down at his desk for a second, reaches over and kind of pulls open a drawer, fiddles around with something, pulls out something, and kind of hands it to you.
Solid block in there.
Hands whatever it is.
Good.
He's handing what appears to be like a badge to you.
Really? Is that this is the process? You're just going to hand me the badge?
Do you take the badge?
So what I would say was, can you tell me more about the responsibilities of someone who joins the shield?
If you are sworn to the Association of Talnamri and you uphold all responsibilities therein held to all shield associates who stand to the greatest alliance of man, elf, dwarf, and all others, then you swear to protect anyone who is put into mortal danger by anyone who is considered an enemy of what is goodly and right in the world. You take no orders from anyone other than from the goodliness of society. You are to protect, you are to serve, and you are to uphold this, and in taking this badge, you will do thusly. If other associates call upon you, seeing that you are a bearer of the badge, then it is in good conscience that you do join with them to help them in their endeavors, if you see that their endeavors are requisite of your abilities.
So Grog would say, I wish to join. However, I need to balance these duties with my duties as the Sentinel of Oru. And I wanted to make sure that that would be something that would be allowed.
There are no duties that we are assigning to you. It is more or less just a lifestyle choice.
So then I would.
You would
You're joining
protect.
the reserves.
You would protect people, and if very dire situations called upon you, then you would take them up.
I would take the badge.
All right. He nods his head, and he says, he speaks a chant in 3 languages, starting with Dwarvish. Do you speak it? You do currently.
I have a belt of dwarven kind, so I speak dwarven.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
He says, "This associate, taking upon the badge, thus swears that he will protect all who are not able to protect themselves, and to ensure that all evils that clash against the shield of the association are pushed back and forced back into the darkness and kept from the light." He then says it in Elvish. He then says it in Common. That's the official. That's it.
That's it.
Wow. You did it.
You
Grok would take the badge, and I guess he would put it around with his necklace beside the symbol of Oru.
As an associate, your deeds will be measured, and based on the deeds that you perform, so therein your access to the association will be granted. At current, as a low-level associate, your current and only access is the badge that you carry upon your person. But in future endeavors, if you are seen as a associate in good standing, you may be granted magical items. You may be granted compatriots, associates, squires, who you may need to instruct in the ways that you have been living your life accordingly, so long as you are willing to take on these responsibilities, of course.
Grok would take his mace and he would bang it against his shield and go hoo-ah, and then he would walk out.
The dwarf nods his head, slightly kind of enlivened by that, but by the time you get to the door, he's already kind of back to,
Napping.
yeah. Do you ask him why he's so bored? No, fuck.
We got shit to do.
All
It looks pretty clear why he's so
all the
bored.
shield associates in town are over with the Iron Road. For protecting the road.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, that sounds boring. But it is an option if you want to.
Oh, fuck.
Sure.
You just took an oath, man.
Yeah.
I
Ah,
decide.
fuck that. That's boring job.
You would see
I
that
decide.
you would see that there is a notice board inside of this place, and it would say like the main thing on there right now is protect the Iron Road.
The son of Oru, I choose my assignment.
Under the veil, you two are wandering about. What are you looking for?
I don't know, but I want Grok to be like some hardcore detective, like that one in every show that wears the badge around his neck like he's doing right now.
That's right. Law and Order.
It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be the best buddy cop show ever.
What are you looking for in the veil?
With Ripplin.
This guy's family or friends or
Strolling,
whatever.
strolling around, seeing what we see for now. I know, I'm sure it's a different sort of culture down here.
Okay. So if you're, I would say if you're going by Raya's technique to kind of like read and understand the nature of the stuff, I would like for Raya to go ahead and make a perception check. And if you're just kind of casually being observant, Shambles, I'll let you make a perception as well. The difficulty classes for both of those are different.
Okay. I'm really just sort of looking around if anything looks familiar.
Yep.
Passive 20 is not gonna. You want an actual looking for?
The passive 20 is not it's not a replacement situation. But the thing is
I don't know shit. 11. I'm just having a great time.
right. As you're kind of meandering about, Shambles, you do see a building that kind of bears a mark. The mark in question appears to be kind of a crab, kind of settled inside of a circle, kind of like drawn out in black ink on a kind of white banner.
Okay.
This should spark memory. If not, I'll
There's
explain.
there's something somehow familiar about this crab market.
Yeah. It should already be familiar to you, but if not, I'll explain why it should be.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
I'm afraid not.
Kenji Hattori is covered with this symbol.
That's
This
right.
appears to be his icon.
I think you did mention that. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. What kind of building is this?
It appears to be more of a yurt than a building. It looks like it's kind of built against some rubble of an older structure.
Does it look like it's a dwelling anymore? Like,
It looks like it's currently being utilized because you do see
occupied?
a bit of smoke kind of rushing out of the top of the yurt.
I guess I'll approach and see
Pull.
who's home.
There's,
Knock on the door.
yeah, there's a curtain. I mean, you could pull it open, or you can. There's really no knocking on the curtain.
You just call out.
I just announce.
You hear a voice.
Hello there.
You hear a voice reply back. You may enter.
Can I bring my friend?
You may enter.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Right. Let's go.
I'm contact highing off the soap smoke from earlier.
He kind of looks at you as you enter in the sky near the yurt entrance, and kind of gives you a look like, huh, strange. Looks to Raya.
I'm just an elf.
Inside of the yurt, it's probably about 30-foot diameter, right? With a small fire in the middle, which is covered with kind of like a cage, kind of like wrought iron in kind of like a half egg shape, kind of over the top of the fire. Sitting on the opposite side of the yurt from the entrance, there are three people kind of sat in the lotus position. One is an elderly woman who has a staff saddled across her lap. The staff has the mark of Atavius on the capstone of it, and she's kind of wearing dirty but still quite regal looking scholar's robes. The person on the opposite side of the three from her is a elderly individual who appears a bit androgynous and a bit younger than the other two. And they are currently kind of holding their hands to the bridge of their nose, and kind of closed eyes, kind of focusing. And the person in the middle is an old man whose eyes look like they have been gouged out, but kind of sealed over with scabs, very old kind of wounds. He's very wrinkly and very small, but his hands are kind of held out to the sides, and in the palms of his hands, you see the marking of the crab in his hands as well. And as you enter in, he goes, "Chrisen Gervester, it's been a long time."
No.
I'm afraid you've caught me off guard. A lot's happened since we last spoke, and my memory's clearly not as sharp as yours, sir.
Those who walk this world are sometimes prone to its mishaps. It seems that you and your former acquaintances caught up.
I think he means Calrath.
Me? I guess you're right.
So, what brings you here today then?
Oh, just picking up the pieces.
My boy's broken.
How much do you recall? The younger one says, "Hold, wait. Others may be listening. Please, Master, don't. I understand what might be happening here. It is fine. I will speak to this one as I please." You are saying?
I do recall, in my brash youth, I challenged the Master Hittori for his neglect to train me in his ways. He exposed to me just how out of my league that he was, and gave me a taste of whatever I am now. I think I've gained some understanding of what that is, and I wish to see him again.
Well, you would know that he is competing in the grand tournament in Osiria. And, from what I understand. Am I right, maiden? She says. Yes, you are correct. And he says, you will be competing in the tournament soon.
If I were to be so lucky, yes, that is my intention.
Well, hopefully you do not make the same mistakes that you made against him last time. I do understand that the reason that you stand before me is because of his intervention, though. Am I allowed to explain, maiden? You are, she says.
Something about the accent here. Just, boy, gets me every time.
He says, this one that is with you, this one who is not of his body, this one who, like you, has shifted from body to body. Is he worthy of hearing this, or do you wish him to leave?
I think it's time the secrets came out. Go ahead, please.
If he is trusted, then he is trusted. Krista Gervester. When you fought Kenji Hattori, you remember when he performed the maneuver that knocked you out of yourself?
Yeah, the one where he hit me in the chest so many times that my coats fell out. Yes, I do recall.
Wait, what?
If not for that loosening of your spirit, when Calarith's magic took hold of you, you would have died, dissolved, destroyed.
I'm aware of the fortune.
Good. Understand that when you meet with Kenji Hattori next, he will also be aware of this fact. Seeing your soul as it truly is a technique ancient and old in Seiryu, but something he is well aware of. A master of fighting he is. He is so outside of your league.
He asked me to seek him out once I gained an understanding of what transpired that day.
Good.
I still wish to understand it better.
And you
Is
continue.
there anything you can tell me about that?
And you continue. Yes, I can tell you. I can tell you what you sought here before, when you spoke to us. Those who followed Pedrig in his original attempts. We have been here for a very long time. I think most of the answers that you seek, most of what you will need in your contest with Genji Hattori, could be found at the Makoto Monastery, south of here, still within the walls of Benish, just on the coast of Greenbridge. 17. He explains we're 17.
It's an address.
So it's at 17 Maps Street. If you were to go there, and they were to welcome you in, they could show you a technique which would be helpful to you. Because if you deal with him again, the next time you are knocked out of this body, it may not be the case that your soul so easily comes to it and locks back with it. I think you understand that your soul currently floats amongst many bodies, but none of them are truly owned by it.
I am humbled by your assistance and your words of wisdom.
The maiden speaks up. I must ask you a question.
Me?
She says that to you, yeah.
Okay.
What is your desire? Do you wish to return to your true body? Or Do you wish to continue on as this strange amalgam of steel and vitae that walks about? Do you ask that? Bodies are but material. Anything can come to be in this world. You should know this, servant of Lamak.
It's like his 10th. It's like his 3rd week.
Well, you should know it, so maybe just keep up next time.
To the no, Saga's already getting it.
She nods her head.
I should know that.
She nods her head and kind of looks over to the young one. You see, you can take advisement without being an asshole about it. He just. Anyways,
Tell me what I should know.
In response to your question, I'm not sure what the answer is. I wish to see what my limits are before I make such a decision.
what is your goal? The blind one says, a question you do not need to answer. In the study of the body, the mind, and the soul, trying to find the limits is the most important matter. I appreciate you for your honesty, and I hope you well on your journey. But
I appreciate that.
Master Vester, as I'm sure you are aware, our time is at an end. I have no more answers for you, and I don't think you have any more questions. I think most of the answers you seek will be found at the Mokoto Monastery.
It's understood. Truly, it was a pleasure to see old faces again. And I bow to them.
The younger one says, very old. And the maiden says, silence! Speak out of turn again, and I will get the rod.
I guess Ryan and I'll excuse ourselves from the veil.
The strange yurt. Looking back at it, the strange kind of flag, kind of, or banner, kind of above the yurt. You think about it for a second, and you do realize that it looks like the pincers on the banner itself. One of them is thumbless.
Pincers on
The crab,
The crab?
the crab motif. One of them has a thumb missing. The right hand, the right claw.
certain that I get it either, but okay.
Awesome.
I understand what you're saying, but
Right.
I don't get the symbology of it.
It's probably not something you're gonna get yet. If you want to write it down as a note, like that, his symbol is a crab. That's also something to write down too.
Koto Monastery, half crab.
Thumbless grab.
So Shambles, are you would know that time-wise, Raya, this would probably be time for you to start hoofing towards the Vajray statue.
Oh, yeah, I'm flying up there.
Good luck, bud.
Grok, you would basically be
Don't get
exiting
roofied.
out of the Talnumri. The three of you would probably end up kind of meeting up with each other at the. Oh, she said to meet up at the.
Foundation's done.
Yeah, so
So-
you basically all kind of end up there. Go ahead, Andy.
No, that's cool.
Okay. So the three of you will end up there. She's not there yet, Riot. You're early.
Classic ride.
Grok has a badge.
Third wheel.
And
Yeah, what's that about?
You know,
Our boy signed up.
Join the service.
yeah, I thought it might be useful.
It's an enlisted term.
I like this on my necklace.
Salute him.
You should get some flowers, Raya. Don't you know anything?
I don't like it that much.
Oh boy.
Rock, don't you have some druid magic to give him some flowers to give her?
I reach into my pouch and I pull out some lavender and leaves.
I can sprint to a market stand to get some chocolates.
they're probably closed down
We
by
can play
now.
matchmakers.
But he hands you some lavender and leaves, Raya. And Shambles, do you want to start heading toward the Makoto Monastery?
In the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
lavender.
Grok, do you want to take over sidekick mode for Shambles, or do you want to go
Yeah,
on?
I'll take over sidekick mode for Shambles because I think that I'm not
Okay.
going to play wingman for Raya.
No, absolutely, it's going to get really weird.
No, you
I'm
could
sure it
you could
will.
shapeshift into a crab and play Sebastian.
Um,
He's on his own.
Jeremy, I'm going to give you the quick out for this segment of it because I don't want to get
Oh my
too,
God.
I don't want to get too in depth as to what happens here, and I want you to tell me if any of it would be a kind of stopping off point. When she meets with you, she kind of has a very brief conversation with you and leads you to a tavern, very small, kind of nestled in kind of a small area. You see where the walls or the cliff starts to kind of rise up from where you would descend down to the vale, kind of nestled in this area, kind of inside of the cliff area, kind of like right around here-ish. There's like a very small bar kind of inside of the cliff face, and they serve some very exotic spirits. You can see that she seems to be adding things to hers. And when you ask her what that is, she explains that she sometimes takes microdoses of poisons as she's building up tolerances for them. She's always working towards keeping her tolerances up towards poisons.
Does that
Safe word.
work?
It does. She says
For
you
anyone?
it takes a lot of time, but yes.
I mean, in this body, I think I've got the time.
You might want to start as soon as possible then. And she says as she pours a little bit of a drop into your drink.
Dope.
Um,
So hair of the
Well,
dog.
I order a drink and then she pours it in because I don't drink.
what you realize is it seems to kind of numb you a bit, but at the same time it seems to heighten pain and pleasure for you. So like you kind of bump your hand and it's kind of like and then you kind of go ooh, like when it starts kind of like feeling better. It's very strange. Um, Ultimately, it does feel like this is getting to be the conversation is getting to be a bit more intimate, and she is kind of asking you if you want to go do something a bit more risky. Um, would you say yes or no?
I kill people for money. Let's do this.
Okay. She takes you up onto the bridge, so at the high point of the bridge. Nobody's allowed up there, but she seems to have a secret way to kind of get you to the bridge. And the two of you end up kind of sitting on kind of the broken portion of the bridge, looking out onto Cloudy Lake with the lights of the city behind you, or the town behind you. You still feeling kind of strange with the poison that's sitting inside of you. It appears through conversation you would learn that she's given you a bit of the carrion brain or carrion crawler brain juice, and that's the numbing agent, the thing that paralyzes someone if taken in full. But you also have this strange understanding that it heightens the sensation of pain. So getting killed by a carrion crawler is probably the worst thing that could ever happen. They paralyze you, and then they slowly chew you apart. So that's that's kind of insane. But yeah, for lack of a better terminology, a lot of weird things happen on that bridge, and yeah, I'm gonna cut to the monastery. Is that good?
Yeah, I'll give it, should you happen to Siren Air taking the Blue Gate, I've got land up there.
She would tell you that she should be fine.
It's full of poison.
It's full of poison. The monastery is kind of a walled off area. The walls in question are black, solid black stone, with spires that are kind of gold that kind of come up out of the tops of them. As you're approaching in this late hour, you can hear that there are some sounds outside of the monastery. There is a door that has been closed, but standing outside of the door is a single individual in very plain clothes with a staff. The staff has a ring, kind of a metal kind of caps portion with a metal ring on the top, and that ring has a ring connected to it with a very smaller segment of staff connected into it. He kind of looks over to you, nods his head. Good evening. Can I help you?
Hello. I was told this place maybe offer me a better understanding of what I am.
What is your name?
I'm called Shambles.
You are not known to this monastery.
May I approach? I don't wish to speak in such plain manner.
You may.
I don't want to like shout across the street from where he
Mm-hmm.
first said hello to. I was once called Christinger Vester.
Christian Gervester is known to this monastery. You may enter. He gestures to a smaller door that's settled inside of the larger double kind of wooden doors. It is unlocked.
Grok, you coming with?
Oh yeah.
You are
Yeah,
admitted
inside.
one guest. He says as you enter in with Croc.
As per all customary monastery rules.
Well, most people are allowed to have one guest in
Everybody
most
gets a
places.
+1.
Everyone gets a +1.
Everybody gets one.
When you enter into the courtyard, you can see there's probably a dozen individuals, ages ranging from teens to kind of middle age to elderly, performing some sort of series of maneuvers, basically engaging in practice. An individual similar to dress-wise to the person who is standing outside walks over to you, no staff in hand though, and says, "Welcome. Are you wishing to engage in the evening practice rituals, or do you have other business here at the monastery?"
I would try to explain to him the brief chat I had with the 3 individuals under the veil about basically what happened between Chris Gervester and Kenji Itori.
House Kenji is respected by the monastery and the Huli Ruksui. I do not exactly understand what they mean by it, but I will make sure I bring this information directly to the Master Monk and see if they are willing to engage with you this evening. Please wait here. And he kind of goes rushing off into the area.
While that's happening, Grok is looking at the evening practice, and you see him start to like mimic the moves. He's trying in his most awkward, it's like Chris Farley doing monk moves, basically.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will instruct him and place his knees in the correct position.
He's like a 500-pound turtle.
It's like, no, that's completely wrong. You are.
Go ahead and do me a favor and make me a intelligence check or wisdom check. Wisdom check.
Grok?
Yeah, Grok.
Just ninja turtling it from like the first movie where they're standing in the used causing winter.
29.
Okay. You're kind of paying attention and listening to the tutelage that's being given to you on the side. That's a save. You cheater.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Rolled a 20.
gonna be a 24
Okay, well, 24.
or 25. 25. You're right.
Whatever.
So good.
Well, no, 24. I was right. Because you rolled a 19 plus 5. You engage in the practice and are going through the practice as well. You're seeing some kind of ability here. Like Grok isn't bad; he's not terrible at this. And as you're looking at him do it, you kind of go, maybe with some more practice, he might, actually be able to do something here.
He tears off a strip of cloth off of his robe, and he ties it around his head in a headband.
Before you say a word, what color is the cloth?
It's whatever color his robe is.
No, answer the question.
What color is the damned headband?
Okay, hold on. I'm looking at my image.
Wink, motherfucker.
It's green.
Unacceptable.
It's not the cloth on your
We're all
shield.
aware Andy failed his test.
What?
It's not the same as the cloth on your shield.
Oh, would it be? Do I have cloth on my shield?
Yeah,
Okay, let's make it red then.
it's red.
Acceptable.
But yeah,
Except for that whole purple light fiasco.
there does seem to be some capability here. If Grok was, correctly instructed, he might be able to catch on to this.
Monk it up.
So, have you ever considered, fighting like I do?
I mean, look at me. Really?
I'm just casual conversation, occasionally like straightening out a wrist here, or like making sure his chin is up just so as he's going through the poses, in in sort of a mock appearance of what the class is doing below.
I would, I would be pleased if you would instruct me. It's always good to learn new things.
Perhaps mine isn't the only romance tonight.
I don't guarantee that I'm a acceptable master.
No, all right.
I don't I don't have a stream friendly joke for this.
That's fair. The doors to the monastery where the guy ran off open up, and you see individual coming out. They are about 7 foot tall, but you're pretty sure that the height is mainly because of about a foot or so of feathers off the top of their head, completely covered with feathers, decently long beak, wings of bright scintillating colors off of their back, which are currently folded inwards, and hands kind of placed before their chest in kind of like a prayer kind of posture with beads hanging down from the wrists. This individual in kind of sweeping white robes continues down the steps with a grace that's pretty much unmatched to anyone you've seen. And as they kind of descend down, there's this weird kind of like familiar kind of like thing that's happening in your head, but it's like, I think I'm in the right place, but you're not quite sure. Like, if you're like trying to get home, but you kind of go a weird way, but you're there, but you're that kind of feeling. They descend down and see you walk over. I was told that you are Christinger Vester. Is that accurate?
I'm afraid it's true.
Interesting. It's been a long time since you've been to the House of Sincerity.
My apologies, I don't quite recall when I was last here.
Of course. I would assume a lot has changed. What with the nature of your form? Looks to Grok. I don't know you.
That is true. I'm a companion of Christinger and Grok, the Sentinel of Oru.
Oru the Serpent?
The one and only.
Well, interesting. Well, if you have forgotten much, I am Zavion, Master of the House of Sincerity, the Makoto Monastery. So, come with me. We will have tea. So, looks to you, Shambles.
Shambles, you go ahead. I'll stay here and practice.
If you're sure.
It seems like something you should do alone.
I invite you both, but if you wish
Oh.
to remain outside, that's perfectly acceptable.
Would you prefer to do this alone, Shambles?
No, no.
Okay,
again,
then I would come along.
Again, it is monastery custom to have a +1.
Very well.
So
You could see him like pulling himself away from the practice, like he's just a little bit sad to go, but he's gonna go.
okay.
I know these drills by heart. We'll go through them again if you want to.
As you enter in, the very first thing you note is the right wing of the master monk opens up, and the outer robe kind of goes with it, and kind of flutters off to the side and lands perfectly on a hook, a good 20 feet away from the creature. You would note that this is an Aarakocra, which is a kind of bird person. They kind of walk, or they kind of walk around the way there. There's a small table. They kneel and kind of take their position on one side of it. Gestures to the two pillows on the opposite side.
Take a seat.
Yeah. Rock tries to cross his legs. It's really awkward, though.
The monk who you kind of came in and spoke to, and then ran off and went and got, Zavion comes back out with a pot and 3 clayware kind of cups, stoneware cups, and Davion starts pouring the tea and setting it out before you three, themselves included, obviously, and says, "How's Kenji brought you back to this place once again?" Interesting.
Not directly, but I believe it was his intention that I seek him out.
Everything that has to deal with House Kenji is typically intentional.
Again, you must forgive me. I haven't been myself.
It may not have been something you've known when you were yourself. So, you have questions. I do not know.
I don't necessarily have questions so much as information that I'd like completed.
That might be
I'm
easy.
aware. Go ahead.
That might be easier for me. Please begin.
I'm aware in my days as an arena fighter, I came into contact with Kenji Hattori, who answered my call to arms. I was a foolish man who thought this was just another fight under my belt, but I was easily put on the ground. When I approached Kenji after the fight, I again was brash and challenged him to a rematch. He performed some technique that knocked my soul away from my physical form.
An ARF knocking, correct.
And then told me I should track him down when I better understand it. I wish to better understand it, and I wish to improve myself before I track him down.
Of course. As you understand, you exist as a being of energy. Some call it ki, kiai, to the samurai of the Eastern Isles of Shitai. It is known by many names. Most of us call it ki. It is what you draw upon to influence your techniques and empower them. An Aerith knocking is a technique that was created in Osiria during the wars between Seiryu and Osiria. The men of that culture were very proud fighting men, but when they came to blows with the men of Seiryu, who were masters of the craft of war, they understood that they were lacking, not unlike yourself when you stood against Kenji. It was unacceptable for them. So they studied more on the techniques that were used against them. They focused more on the techniques that could be created to combat them. Aeraith is a religious term to the Osirians, from what I understand. It is a place where the spirits dwell once they have been removed from their living bodies. And, as I understand, the lore is very integral to their religion. Atavius, the god of law, and Ashtar, the god of chaos, turned the first human into a lord of that place of death because of his desire for power. The Zavion kind of sips a bit of the tea, kind of leaving the air open for any questions at that point, if none are fielded.
No, it's all just new information. Go.
They continue. An Aeraith knocking is when the masters of the techniques of the Osirian monk, the Aeten monk, are used to knock the spirit out of another individual. If temporarily, sometimes permanently. You can tell the difference between a terminal knocking and a non-terminal knocking based on the composer's palm. if the palm and hand technique is done straight and focused, it should not be terminal. But if the technique is done with a shaking or quivering, it will cause the knocking to be permanent. The soul will leave this realm, and the body will remain uninhabited. Have you studied on this?
I can't think of any techniques that I'm capable of that compare to such a thing.
I will
Don't know where to begin as far as study.
I will show you how the technique is performed. It may be beyond your ability and it will require practice. But as it is House Kenji that has requested that you learn the technique, I believe it would be appropriate. Stands up very quickly, just kind of like rises up like no problems. And
He's
then
a bird.
yeah, but like it's like it's like they were roosting, and then they kind of walks around the way, kind of out into the open segment of this hall, and kind of takes a stance. The stance is very similar to your own. The open hand.
If I'm getting the impression, I'll follow suit.
Okay. As they kind of stand off against you, they move in, bring the kind of hand in, and kind of strike inwards. You're kind of like, oh shit, this is happening. It's the exact same technique that Kenji performed on you those many years ago. Upon hitting the strike, though, you kind of feel like there's kind of like a pull from you, and you can see that the practitioner kind of hand is shaking as it's coming in, but then kind of locks into place and hits. It's not as sturdy as you remember the technique coming from Kenji. As the hit strikes, you kind of feel this kind of pain and agony, and a very just slight dip outwards, and then snap back into yourself. The difference between this time and the time that it happened with Kenji is, for that moment that you are outside of the body, everything is really, really cold. And you haven't felt cold in a while. And as you kind of slap back in, you take 38 points of necrotic damage.
From an observer from the outside, what does Grok see when this happens? Is there anything?
You watch a hand kind of slam against the chest of Shambles. Shambles kind of snap back and then kind of come back into posture.
Okay.
And then Zavion kind of moves the hand and says, practice this technique as much as you can. You'll know when you are ready to perform it. Add a character note. This is role-playing for your 17th level class feature.
Had a feeling.
Once
Good
you are...
ask. Didn't want to spoil it.
Once you are... Fair enough. Once you are prepared, once you can perform this technique, then I think you will truly be ready to engage with Kenji as he requested.
Would you recommend I speak with him? It seems I've been invited to a tournament he'll be attending.
The Grand Tournament? The Grand Tournament is not for another 3 months, so you have plenty of time.
It's a big gesture of your confidence in me. I'm grateful.
Out of character, you guys have been playing in this game for, what, 4 months in character? And you're already, like, 12th level? Or 10th level? Well, 10th plus the startup, so 11th-ish. I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got timetables. I bow to
Zavion.
Zavion?
And Zavion says, I don't think talking to Kenji Hattori would be a problem. He is a pretty open-minded individual. I would suggest that if he said that he did not want you to speak to him or to try and engage with him until you were ready, you had best be ready. Zavion goes back, reaches down very nimbly, pulls the teacup up, sips the last of it, reaches back down, sets it back where it was, turns around, gives a light bow to you, and then heads away. The thing that you didn't notice, but you are now kind of taking into to notice, is that this room has a very strange kind of aura to it. And I don't think you broke the nature of the aura while here. You didn't tell any lies, did you? No.
Not to my knowledge, I didn't.
Okay. I didn't bring it up because it didn't come up, but yeah, if I knew you were lying, I was going to mention it. But yeah, there's a strange aura about this room in the House of Sincerity.
Grok, what's the best Ninja Turtle?
What's that?
What's the best Ninja Turtle?
Name it right now.
I don't know them very well.
What?
Donatello. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Is that the wrong one?
Nope, that is the wrong one.
Okay, wait, no, hold on. Zach, what's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I just don't know them.
I'm a Mikey guy.
And Jeremy,
Personally.
Raphael?
Raph, Mikey, Leo, Donnie.
See, this
Le-
is very generational.
Leo's
because
mine. I'm Leo all the way.
How old were you when you watched that?
It's fine, whatever. But
What year? When was that?
I don't know what it is for me.
80s. It
Was it? Yeah,
popular in
dude.
the 80s.
I was in
88,
college. I was
89.
not watching Canadian
Alright.
Ninja Turtle. Sorry.
Maybe
Fine.
it should have been.
it's pretty great.
Anyway, what I was trying to get at was, did the sincerity aura go off and
Oh, when he
strike
lied.
contemplating?
No, because he lied, told an untruth. He said that Donatello was the best.
Told his truth.
Oh, I don't know.
He told his
You
truth.
Grok doesn't lie.
Grok doesn't know what the Ninja Turtles are.
Come on, man. Just look at me. Are you injured, Shambles?
I'm visibly like hurt, but you know,
Yeah,
nothing
so
a
I'm
good
gonna-
night's sleep won't fix.
So he's going to reach out and touch him on the shoulder. Look, we'll do Cure Wound.
Okay. As you two are leaving the monastery, I presume, I'd like the both of you to make perception checks.
So we're gonna give you back 29.
Shambles, you're very in your thoughts, focused on what is
22.
as you're leaving and you're basically exiting out of the gate, you kind of look back over your shoulder. You see Xavion kind of up in the House of Sincerity, like on a balcony, kind of looking down at you. And standing next to him is Cameron Belnades, the combatant from the tournament.
Oh. So Shambles doesn't notice that. I would definitely point that out to Shambles.
Okay. Well, it's as you're leaving, and the doors are basically closing behind you. So.
Yeah.
She had every opportunity to speak.
Yep.
Just file that away.
I'm sure we'll run into her again.
Okay. Head back to the house to sleep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's his name? Emernath?
Yep. Amarnath. Yeah. You know who's not there? It's Raya.
Oh.
Yeah, he's busy.
Somebody's date went really well or really poorly.
Or both. Or yes or no.
I'm a little worried for him.
Potentially, no matter what, you're going to read about it in the paper tomorrow.
Two people straight
My date went so well.
fucking.
I could turn into a bird and fly over there. And...
I'll be
So-
fine, Grok.
You sure you want to risk it?
So the details,
No, I don't.
the details of that night, Jeremy, are yours and yours alone. So long as they're not too graphic, you can mention them at later dates, bring them up as kind of just cannon fodder. It could be as crazy as you guys did it on the first or the foundation stone, to like whatever you want. Like I don't care, but the main thing is I didn't want to be weird about it and hump one of my players.
He has a new tattoo somewhere.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Nope, just one and done right there on the bridge.
Fair.
Yeah.
For you, it's like, this is the first time this has happened to me in a really long time!
I've never had a functioning... You should know before we start, I've never had a functioning penis before.
Until you reincarnated.
Did bring that up.
So it's like,
And here we go.
she touched my...
We bonded over this.
She touched my Pepe Steve.
Had two pump jumped her and flew off.
Had a good hard cry. And
It's a good first outing.
went back to the bachelor bed.
Okay, so in the morning, I believe that...
Confirmed the bachelor pad, right?
yeah. Shambles, you are heading to the Fighters Guild to receive your.
Yes, I was meant to speak with them about certification for the Grand Tournament.
And Raya, you are heading to the statue of Padraig to have your
Oh,
meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize to Shambles. I feel bad. I squired him on in there. I'm not gonna be able to be there for him today.
Oh,
Fair.
I'll go with him. I'll go with him.
Grok and Shambles again. And then we'll discuss where the other two will be when we get to that, because it looks like it's just about 7. Pretty good stopping point for the sesh.
Yeah, the guys.
Really good times. Thanks for watching, those who did, and we will pick up next week. No, next week we are off. I will be going on a mini vacay, so it'll be 2 weeks from today. All right.
We're in a weird
He's gonna-
stage in our scheduling, aren't we?
Yeah, April's a weird month. All right,
Well, Jeremy's gonna have a miss.
Yeah, 16th I'll be out in May.
16th of May. Okay. Yeah. Well,
You gonna drink a little poison on your vacay, John?
yeah. Hell yeah. Oh my God! Will you just get your foot over? Stupid baby. All right. Thanks for watching. Killing Street.